Okay, so we'll start then by coming to lie down on the mat, as we usually do. And just for those of you who are joining for the first time today, my name is Mark, and we're going to be doing about an hour of practice together. And this beautiful, here in London, it's a lovely sunny morning with the promise of it going up to something quite warm today, so we're really coming into the springtime properly now. Not just spring is coming, but spring is now here. Here in London at least, if that's where you're joining from. So we're resting down on the ground, resting, relaxing. So, I wonder what it feels like in your body right now. I wonder what you're feeling. I wonder if we can bring that gentle curiosity to all of the different dimensions and aspects of what we're experiencing. Gentle curiosity. Of course, no one knows how we can switch between a judgmental, critical way of perceiving things to a kind, curious, compassionate way of seeing things. No one can tell you how to do that. We just switch something in our mind. We switch our attitude. We change what we pay attention to. And that change is a movement of energy. Of course, our brain and our body is just a collection of energy, different kinds of energy moving, transforming, flowing. On the purely physics point of view, we've got energy in terms of electrical impulses in the nerves, movement of chemicals in the blood flow. We've got sensory information flowing up in one direction and directions to move flowing down in the other direction. And that creates a sense of awareness and consciousness. It's all just it's energy, right? So let's move this bag of energy around a little bit and see how that changes things. Let's bring one knee up in towards the chest. And then the other knee up as well. So two knees come up, two hands around your knees. And just gently start to wiggle them in, bring them in towards your chest. Perhaps two knees together, rocking side to side if you want. I find it nice to hold the knees together, circling the knees. But you might want to just hug them in more straight in towards the chest. You might want to change the circle, go back the other way. And then if we bring the soles of the feet to face up towards the ceiling, reach up, take hold of your feet, ideally from the outside, if you can, outside of your feet, little toes side, and then gently bringing the knees down towards the floor. Now, as we start our movement, it's very important to remember, always acknowledge that our practice, it's our responsibility to make sure what we do is safe and within the limits of our body, especially if you're joining online, making sure that what you do is not forceful, is not going to cause pain or go beyond your comfortable place. Yeah. And if we bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees draw wide, holding the feet, bringing them in, and letting the knees move out to the side. And then releasing the feet, bring them down onto the ground. So knees bent, feet on the ground. And then if we bring the hands onto the floor, we're going to lift up the hips, bring them up off the ground. Bring your hips up towards the ceiling. And then bringing them back down to the floor again. Bringing the knees up towards the chest, hugging them in. So we're going to just move in those directions for a little bit. So bring the feet down to the ground, lifting up the hips. And then hips back down to the ground and knees up. Now as the feet come to the ground and the hips lift, you may want to take your hands up over the top of the head. As the thighs, hips are coming up, hands above your head, and then the hips come back down to the floor, and then you can hold your knees. So we just move between those a little bit. Hips lifting, hands above the head, and then the knees hugging him in. Let's do 2 more. So we've got this movement of energy, an intention which transforms into a movement which then we can sense through our nervous system, and the body begins to flow. And then the next time you're holding your knees in, we'll just pause there. And then we'll rock and roll forwards and backwards and coming up into sitting. Feet about hip width apart. Hands up underneath the knees, leaning back a little bit. Come into a balance, and then maybe one foot can come up, and then you might find that 2 feet can come up. And we just hold it here. So legs parallel to the floor. So we're going to hold this one still, but still there's energy flowing, right? Energy flowing, the holding of the muscles, the movement of the chemicals in the belly, and our intention. You might find the hands can release to the side, or you might want to carry on holding. Of course, there's always the flow of breath, which we can sense very clearly. Just maybe 2 more breaths. And then we're going to separate the feet, wrap around the knees, and let your head drop down. Okay, looking up. We'll do it one more time. So hands up underneath the knees, leaning back, sitting nice and tall, one leg up, maybe second leg up. You might find holding is good. You might find releasing the hands is good. You might find bringing the feet together and extending a little bit is also somewhere to explore. Yeah, just 4 breaths, or coming down at any point if you want. So the body is reasonably still, but there's a lot of movement of energy inside. And then we separate the feet, wrap around the knees, and let the head relax down. Good. Looking up. So we're going to cross the feet and come over into all fours, or swing your legs around, come over into all fours. And let me I'm just going to move this a little bit around the side a bit. That's it. Hands underneath the shoulders and the knees underneath the hips. Letting your head hang down towards the floor, letting your spine lift up, arching the back. And then we'll move backwards all the way as far as your body will go towards your heels. Drop your elbows to the floor, looking forwards, sliding forwards, and then look up and lift your chin as you come all the way back to all fours. So head down, spine arching. Moving backwards towards your legs, your heels. Drop elbows, slide forwards and up. So as we do this, you can imagine that the energy is moving through your spine like a wave. And a wave is just a flow of energy. Make sure you lift your chin as you come all the way up to the ceiling, and then arching your back and keeping that arch as you move backwards. The awareness of what's going on in your back and how it feels and what's moving and what's not moving is also information energy being interpreted by your brain, being felt in your body. Let's do 2 more. And then we'll come back into all fours. Tucking your toes, lift your knees and walk the feet in just behind the hands. Sliding the hands up your legs, and we'll come up into standing. Gradually rolling up, again like a kind of unfurling wave up to the top, yeah? So breathing in, the hands lifting. Bend your knees, hands to your thighs, slide all the way down. Touch the fingers to the floor, and then lift the head, look forwards. And then let your head hang down towards the legs. Going to take the right foot a long step back on the mat. And then stepping the left foot back as well, coming into a down dog shape. Downward facing dog. So looking at the feet with the hips lifting upwards and backwards. Shifting your body weight forwards until the shoulders come over your hands. Then we're going to lower down. So maybe bring the knees down and then bend the elbows to lower your body down. Slide forwards until your toes untuck, and then we'll just look up. Lift the chest a little bit. Tuck your toes underneath, pressing backwards and upwards, lifting the hips upwards, backwards, and then the right foot stepping forwards in between the hands. I'll get a good swing forwards, and then we'll step both feet forwards, sliding the hands up your legs, coming up. Okay. So we're just starting to move into a sun salutation. What I thought we'd do today is to explore a kind of cosmic flow of energy, right? So we're going to be looking at the moving or honoring the sun. Maybe would it be all right just to slide slightly backwards? Yeah, then we get some more of a clearer view here. So we're going to have a think about the sun. It's a lovely sunny day, and we're going to honoring and thinking about, basically it's a big long bow to the sun. Hello, sun. It's springtime. It's very welcome to come and join us in this nice sunny day. And then we're going to go through a little bit of the moon salutation very quickly. So just honoring, we have the sun, we have the moon, and then we're going to do some more flowing kind of Qigong movements, which are about bringing ourselves into a more of a expansive view of us and our energy and the universe. Okay, that's the plan for today. So, breathing in, bend the knees, hands to your thighs, we slide all the way down. So we begin our sun salutation on the other side, So looking forwards, looking up, and then let the head dangle down towards the floor. It's like a long bow, right? So left leg, long step back, and then the right foot back as well. We're coming into a down dog shape. Looking forwards, shift body weight forwards until the shoulders are over the hands, and then we lower down knees, and then all the way down to the floor. Slide forwards, untuck toes, and then lift the chest slightly. Tuck toes underneath, backwards and upwards, into downward dog. Left leg, step forwards in between the hands. And then the right leg comes forwards. And then we slide all the way up. Back, bringing the hands up. Palms come together to the center of the chest. So I find it quite interesting that the Buddhist style of bow also has a kind of coming to the ground and then a gentle lift, and then we come back up to standing. So we have this sun salutation where we come all the way down to the ground and then we have a lift. There's a kind of point at which something begins to emerge at the end before we come all the way back up to standing. So maybe we could visualize at the front of the mat sunshine, or the sun. Okay, breathing in. Bend the knees, sliding down. The front of the mat is the sun. Looking up, lifting the head, and then let the head dangle down towards the mat. So right leg will go right leg step back, and then both legs back into downward dog. Shift body weight forwards, shoulders over the hands, and then we lower down, all the way down. When do we ever bow to the floor, all the way down flat? And then we slide forwards, and there's a kind of lift, like a recognition. Oh, this beautiful sunshine in front of me. Tuck toes backwards and upwards. And then the right foot steps forwards in between the hands. Both feet forwards, sliding all the way up. Bringing the hands up to the ceiling, palms come together, and then we center in the middle of the chest. So the sun is 8 minutes away. Light speed, light travel time. The light is reaching us 8 minutes through space. And then if you think about 8 minutes ago, it left the surface of the sun. The sun's like a boiling, seething surface of hotness, hot gas. It's radiating out the whole of space, and just some of it's coming towards Earth, and we feel it here as the warmth in this room. Okay, breathing in. Bend the knees, sliding all the way down. Touch floor, lift the head, look up. And then let the head dangle down. This time left foot, long step back on the mat. Both feet back, downward dog. Slide forwards, shoulders over the hands, and then lower down. Bowing all the way down to this beautiful sunshine. Slide forwards and look up. Tuck toes, backwards and upwards into downward dog. Left foot, long step forwards, and then both feet forwards. Sliding up the legs, breathing in to the ceiling, palms together, and then to the center. The sun converts hydrogen into helium. That's what it releases energy. And it's converting billions of tons of hydrogen into helium every minute. And that is all converted into pure light energy, heat energy, which is radiated into space. The sun is literally giving up its being to heat us, to warm us, and to light us here on the earth. It's been doing that for 5 billion years. Isn't that incredible? Breathing in, reach up. Bend the knees, slide down. Touch floor, look up. Lift the head, and then let your head dangle down. So, one more time. Right side, right foot, and then both feet back. Slide forwards, and then lower down. Prostrating ourselves to the floor. Slide forwards, and look up. Tuck toes, backwards and upwards. Right foot stepping forwards in between the hands. Both feet forwards. Breathing in, we reach up to the ceiling. And then to the center, the middle. In our body, the sun is like our belly. That's the inner sun in our yoga view. We all have this kind of radiance, the shining, the ability to shine out. Yeah, breathing in, we reach up. Bend the knees, slide down. Touch floor, look up. lift the head, and then we're going to let the head dangle down. Let's take a little bit longer here, letting the head dangle down, relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the neck, and let the head be really heavy. We're folding over the belly, folding over our inner sun, our sort of center of power, if you like. And then the left leg that can long step back on the mat. And we take both feet back into downward dog. Shift forwards, shoulders over the hands, lower down. Slide forwards and lifting slightly. Tuck toes, downward dog. Left foot stepping forwards in between the hands, both feet forwards. Sliding up the mat, reaching up to the ceiling, palms together and to the center. Feeling that inner warmth starting to radiate out. You know, all of life on Earth couldn't happen without the sun. We are entirely dependent on the energy from the sun. It's what creates all of the energy that we need here. Good, okay. So, what I suggest for the next bit, we're going to turn the mat sideways. And maybe we can do that here as well. Depends on, if you're at home, depends on where your screen is, whether you would like to do that. We're going to move more sideways, side to side on the mat. So you might find it more helpful to do that way around. Yeah. So the sun and the solar system formed about 5 billion years ago, and then not long after that, something smashed into this Earth and caused a little ball to come off, like a droplet. It kind of came off the Earth, and that became the moon, went into orbit. So the moon is part of the Earth, and it's now into orbit, around the Earth. We only ever see one face. It's stuck so that we only see one side of it. The other side we can't ever see. So it goes around in one face shining to us. And of course, moonlight is sunlight, but it's just reflected. And it has a very different feel to it. So if we do a salutation to the moon, thinking about our relationship and our respect for that kind of other side of things, the moon side of things. So let's start on the right side of the mat. Bringing the right hand up, palm face up to the ceiling, and then we're going to hold on to the wrist, turn the wrist to face up to the ceiling, and then just let that come over the top of the body. So we come into a side bend. We can look up underneath the elbow, and then allow that side of the body to come into focus. Now, this is kind of like our crescent moon to start with, so you might find the hips want to just slide out slightly. You can think about this curvy shape all the way along the side of the body. It's a slightly slower sequence, symbolic of the fact that the moon's energy is a little bit quieter and stiller. 2 more breaths. And then we'll breathe in and come up. So we're going to step here into the middle of the mat. Yeah, turning the feet out about 45 degrees. One hand on your belly, one hand on your back here, and just see if you can sink straight down without tilting your hips one way or the other, just straight down. So knees go out in line with the toes. And then once you've got that alignment, you want to stay up high if it's a bit challenging, or stay down low a bit if you want a bit more. Then we'll take the hands in front, and we're going to make a big round shape here with the hands, like a full moon shape here. So here we can imagine moonlight. And we just had a full moon, was it last weekend, wasn't it? We had this lunar eclipse, wasn't it? So the moon currently is waning away from full moon. Good, breathing in and coming up. So we're going to take the left foot, turn it out to the side, and take the right foot and angle it in slightly, yeah. Okay, hands on the hips and aligning with the long edge of the mat. Yeah. We're going to reach out here with the long straight leg in the front. We're reaching out, and then the front hand can come down, back hand can come up. Looking up if that feels comfortable towards the ceiling. 2 fingertips on both hands reaching away from each other. Just 2 breaths. And then if we bend the front knee, the top hand's going to come all the way over the top and down to the mat. And we bring the back knee down to the floor, and we come into a lunge shape here. So let's just take a moment here, resting on the front knee, and make sure we've got enough space between back and front leg to allow us to sink. Okay. And then when you're ready, we'll take the hands up. We come into a very traditional crescent moon pose, this one here. So you can imagine from the back foot all the way up that back leg, through the hips, the chest, and to the hands above you is a crescent, a curve. Looking up, if you feel good, looking up between the hands, with the hips sinking down and your gaze lifting up, as if you're looking up at the bright moon in the night sky. Of course, the moon sometimes visible in the daytime as well. Doesn't have to be the night time. And then next time you breathe out, we'll bring the hands down. So fingertips on the floor, hips are going to move backwards slightly, and we're just going to bow the head, bring the chin down towards your chest for a moment. Okay, coming forwards. So we're going to start to move to look in the other direction. So we'll end up turning away from each other. So the right hand comes down underneath the shoulder, and then the foot here, I'm just going to switch around because it makes it easier for us all to see. Then the foot here turns away from the hand, and then we're going to roll down so that the hip ends up coming down towards the floor. And this leg in front of you here can just wiggle away from you, wiggle into a comfortable position, yeah? So we can have the knee on the floor, or we can have the knees up off the ground, whatever's good. And with the other hand, if we reach round towards the back foot, and then we're going to swing that hand around and over the top of your head, so we end up looking up away from your back foot, yeah, above you. Does it make sense? Above you, like away from the back foot. And then we swing the hand around to look at your back foot again. And then we're going to sweep the hand around over the top of the head. This one called the nectar of the moon pose. Now, there's something very esoteric about that name. And in fact, that's right. There's a kind of practice where we're working with the energy of the moon in the body. They call it nectar. Even in Zen, they also have a very similar word to describe it. Yeah, let's do one more time. So sweeping the hand around one way and then up above the head. Now we're going to swing all the way around and face the other direction. So we come all the way around to here. So you guys end up facing towards me and I'm over here. Yeah. So we've got this left leg bending, right leg straight, and we're sinking down. You can use your hands wherever you need on your knee or on the floor for support as we sink. You might find you're supporting with the hands or maybe even lifting with the hands. Depends on where you are. A couple of breaths. And then we'll swing the hands over the top, back to the short edge of the mat, realign the feet, and then drop the back knee onto the floor. Untuck your back toes, and we'll do one more time into the crescent moon pose, lifting the hands up. 2 breaths. And breathing out, hands coming down. I've got to bring this time, right hand comes in front of the foot. And then we tuck the back toes and we come up here. we're going to find a balance. Okay, so the right hand is in front of the foot, and the back leg may just become lighter and lighter and lighter until it just gently lifts up off the ground. Now, it depends on your body. You may want to start, or may be able to start, turning your hips to face the front of the class. Okay, and then the foot that's in the air, if we drop it down to the floor and come into the center. Feet facing out 45 degrees, knees bending. Yeah. Full moon shape. Breathing in and coming up. We're stepping now to the other side of the mat. Feet about hip width apart, left hand comes up, palm face up, holding onto the wrist and helping it to come over the top of the body. Looking up underneath the elbow, send the hips, if you want, further out to the side. Thinking of that crescent, curvy shape. Of course, back in the old days, the phase of the moon made a huge difference to what people could do at night time. If you know the difference between a dark night with no moon and a night with a full moon you can practically get anything done. It's like you can have a shadow, everything. On a new moon, it's so dark. These days, of course, it makes little difference. We just turn the lights on. But for all of our history, the phase of the moon would make a big difference to what's going on. Breathing in and coming up. Step into the middle. Feet out 45 degrees. Bend the knees and sinking down. If you find it helpful with the hands to keep the alignment, we could do that. Otherwise, the hands come out in front. So in our body representation, the full moon is here in the head. Sun is down here and the moon is up here. The moon has this sense of sinking and softening. The sun has a sense of powering and energizing. Good. And release. Okay, so we're going to take this time the right foot out and turn the left foot in. Lining the hips up with the long edge of the mat here, and then we'll reach out towards, that's it, front hand comes down, back hand comes up. Fingertips are reaching away from each other. 2 breaths. Good. And then we're going to bend the front knee, and then the top hand comes over the top, down to the floor, and we slide the back foot down so that the knee can come onto the floor. Let's just take a little moment aligning our lunge shape. Make sure we've got enough space to sink, and the knee is straight over the toes, over the heel. Then when you're ready, the hands can lift. So we keep on sinking down in the lower body, even as the hands and the gaze lifts up. And you can visualize that curve all the way from the back foot to the top hands. And you know, the light of the moon feels very different. What does it mean? We know what it feels like to sunbathe, but if you think, what does it mean to moonbathe? When you're standing in the light of the moon, how it feels so different. And then breathing out, we come down. Yeah? So fingertips on the ground, hips moving backwards, and we'll just take a little bow, head dropping down, chin tucking in towards your chest. Bend the knee, coming forwards. So let me, again, switch over so it makes more sense. So this time, we've got the left hand coming down on the floor, underneath the shoulder. We turn the foot away from the hand, and then we're going to roll onto the outside of the back foot so the hip comes down to the floor. Yeah, towards the floor. Bring the knee down if you'd rather. And then with the other hand, we're going to swing it around. So first of all, towards your back foot, and then we swing it over the top of the head, and we look up to where it's pointing away from your back foot. Okay? So towards your back foot, and then right around above the head, looking with your eyes too. Swinging one way, and then the other. Let's do one more. And then we're going to swing all the way around, turn, until we end up facing the front. Here, hopefully we end up with the right knee bending and the left leg out straight. So we come into our half squat, supported whatever you feel like is needed. Sinking down, with the hands supporting or lifting, wherever you feel is best. And then we bring the hands over the top towards the short edge of the mat, and then we turn the feet back to, is that right? Yeah, okay, that's right. Good. One more time into the crescent moon, lifting the hands. Couple of breaths here. Gazing up towards a beautiful starry sky with the moon in. And then breathing out, coming down. So now the right hand's going to come in front of the foot. We tuck the back toes and we just shift the back foot a little bit more. Right foot, right hand is our point of balance. The back foot comes up. And then we can start, if you feel comfortable, to maybe start to turn towards the front here. So this is moving towards a crescent moon pose, half moon pose, balancing half moon. And then the foot that's in the air, if we drop it down to the floor and we come back into the middle. Feet about 45 degrees out to the side. One last time, sinking down. Breathing in and floating the hands. Yeah, bring the feet now underneath your body, about hip width apart. Standing tall, eyes can be lowered. Tuning in. So how do you feel? What's going on? As I said at the beginning, just remembering that our body is just a movement of energy. It's energy that's contained within certain, within the cell, within the tissue, within different parts. It's moving around, different forms of energy, transforming, feeling. Eyes lifting. So we're going to do a series of movements, which I hope was going to help us to sort of tune into the connection between ourselves and our body, and that is what is around us, okay, what's above us, or what we exist in, okay. Now the first movement, we're going to bring the hands in front here, palms face up. So we're going to interlink the fingers and then come up the front of the body. Turn the hands over. We're going to send them up about 45 degrees towards the ceiling. And then we lift all the way up to the ceiling. And then the chin drops down as we extend. Bend the elbows. And then we separate the hands and float down. Okay. Palms face up. Interlink the fingers. Coming up the front of the body. Turning over. 45 degrees. Looking at the hands as they lift all the way up. And then when they come up above the head, we just drop the chin down. So we've got a nice long extension bending the elbows, separate the hands and floating down. So interlink the fingers. So this one here called lifting the sky. And really the movement here is to take something from inside and extend it out. Feel like there's something reaching out. Bend the elbows, floating down. So we draw something from inside your body. It comes up and then up and up. As we drop the chin, you can extend all the way up into the atmosphere, into space, bend the elbows, and then just floating down. Something from inside your body is reaching up, is connecting with up. Bend the elbows, floating down. Let's do 2 more. So we gather, we extend, and we find what is above. Bend the elbows, floating down. Last one. And maybe it's just our attention which is lifting, or our imagination. That's a form of energy too. Okay, letting the hands release down by the side of your body, eyes lowered. Just sensing, what do you feel? Okay, eyes lifting. So next one, we're going to gather from above and bring it down in. Okay, so we sweep the hands up above the head. Imagine that the hands extend very, very long way out into space or something, and we gather up a big ball of energy or something, space, and then we're going to imagine our body is hollow, and we bring it down, filling up your body all the way in with this space or energy. Okay, so we breathe in, coming up, gathering, and then imagining your body is hollow, we bring that down and fill up your insides with it all. Big ball of space or energy or imagination. The body is hollow, we bring it down and into our body. You could perhaps imagine sunlight or moonlight, or perhaps the galaxy or stars, and then we're bringing that inside your body. Let's do 2 more. And then we can let the hands come down to your side, lower your eyes, and sensing. Okay, eyes lifting. So let's take the right hand here, just to the front. We're going to turn the hand over and send it down towards the floor. Now, as we do that, we're going to shift the weight to the right side, and we're going to sink down to the floor on the right, and the left leg's going to come up. Okay, we're going to include this hand in a minute. So just to begin with, we're sinking down into the earth. Fine to have the toes just touching or above the ground, yeah? Sinking down into the ground, and then we release. Okay, other side. So left hand, it comes palms face down. We press down to the ground, and at the same time, the foot lifts. And then release, okay? So as we do this, right hand, Press down to the ground. Find the balance. We're just noticing the feeling of weight and connection with the earth, with what's underneath us. Yeah? And release. And the left hand, press down to the floor, and we find that lift. Okay, and then release. Okay, so now as the right hand goes down, the left hand's going to come up above the head like this. Okay, so it might be helpful if we start with the palms facing up. The left hand's going to come up, and then we turn the hands over. Okay, so let's do that. Left hand comes up, turn the hands over. So one hand's going to go down, this hand's going to go up. And at the same time, we shift the weight, we sink down, and then we do this. Okay, so this half of the body is sinking down, this half of the body is lifting up. And then we come into the center. Okay, so right hand comes up, turn hands over. We sink down to the floor and lift. And then back to the center. Left hand comes up, turn hands over, sink. So this side of the body is reaching the earth, this side of the body is reaching up towards, space, the universe, and then sink. Right side, turn over. Oops. I'm going to do one more on each side. Left, turn. Sink down and extend up. And then release. Right side, turn. And then we release. Good. Coming into the center. Let the hands come down to the side. Eyes can lower. So we recognize that in the middle of what's up and what's down is our human existence. We exist as a kind of, what would you say, like a connection, or the in-between point between what's up and what's down. Eyes lifting. So one last movement we're going to do before we come to sit down. So we're going to reach around behind the back of the head. So we've got the hard part of the skull coming down to the soft part of the top of the neck here. And in this view of the human body representing the universe, we've got the sun down here and the moon up here. Or you could think of it as being the earth down here and the universe up here. Like there's two different sort of dimensions. So we're called tapping the heavenly drum here. And we're just going to tap here into the back of the neck. I'll just come a bit closer so you can see. I'm just tapping here into the back of the neck. And it's quite nice. You might want to just drop the head, tilt the head down, chin down, so that you open up the back of the neck. We're just tapping here. Maybe even a bit of a massage, releasing any tension around the back of the neck. Okay, and then we can come up. So let's come down into sit. Bringing the right foot in front. So lifting up the right foot. Hello, right foot. I haven't seen you in a while. It's been nice. We're coming up to the time of the year where we're going to get our sandals out and flip-flops, isn't it? And we have to say, oh, gosh, I need to do something with my feet, prepare, right? So we're going to take the foot and just start to make a circle, make big toe circles. Okay, and then change the direction. Now, if this feels at all uncomfortable, if this is really not working for you, then we can make it very gentle. Maybe move the leg out, maybe have it straight, whatever's going to be better for your hip or whatever. Yeah. And if that feels all right, then you could perhaps hold the foot and then cradle the knee in the other side. You might find holding the foot, you could bring the foot a little bit further up the upper arm, just so that we can cradle the leg here. Maybe even just a little bit gentle rocking side to side. Now, if you're at all worried about your knee, then we're just going to flex the foot and engage all the muscles here, make it really strong. Pull the toes up towards your knee. And then if we release the foot and put it in front of the other one, we're just going to start to fold forwards. Very gentle movement forwards. And then coming up. So switching the legs. Holding up the foot, and then big toe circles. Make them big if that feels good, big circles. Get mobility into the hip. And then changing the direction. What are we drawing? Is it the moon or the sun? Or could we do a smiley face on the moon, isn't it? Yeah. Good. And then if we take the foot then, holding the foot and the knee, or maybe bringing the foot a little bit further up the forearm there, holding the knee. And if you want, just really flex the foot, pull the toes up towards your knee and just make sure that's strong there. Mm-hmm. And then we can release the foot and bring it in front of the other one. And then we'll just start to come forwards. Good. And then going back to upright. So we're going to come to rest down on the mat. So if you want to put on any extra layers, now is the time. But since our mats are a bit funny orientation, choose which way you want to lie and come to lie down. So this lovely idea that the body symbolically represents the universe. And in the Chinese view, we have the earth being down in the belly and heaven or space being up towards the head. And it's not just a symbolic view. We now know that we are made of the universe. In fact, our entire body is comprised of chemicals which were formed inside stars. Hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, phosphor, magnesium, all of them were formed inside stars. Our Earth was formed from a giant cloud, the same cloud that the sun was formed from 5 billion years ago. So we are made of the universe. And the universe, the energy of the universe flows through us, around us. We are embedded in the energy of the universe. So it makes sense to think of the body as a kind of micro-representation, symbolic. And there's this lovely practice which has evolved which some people call the microcosmic orbit, which is quite a fancy name. Microcosmic, like our body is a symbolic microcosm of the universe, and an orbit means moving energy in a circle. So we're going to imagine here energy, or imagine even the breath, if you like, breathing in, coming up the back of your spine to the top of your head. And as you breathe out, just following your awareness down the front of your body, face, chest, belly, all the way down to the bottom again. Yeah. So breathing in, following something up the back of your body. Breathing out, following that attention or awareness down the front. You can imagine a train of sparkling energy or something, if you like, as you breathe in, running up the back of your body, over the top of your head, and breathing out, flowing down the front. To some people, it can feel a bit more like a fountain of water up the back and more like a waterfall down the front. Breathing in, energy rising up the back of your body, over the head, and breathing out down the front. Joining together the earth through the human body to the universe and back again. Breathing in, flowing up the back of the body, and breathing out, flowing down the front. A flow, a transformation of energy. And that's all that happens in the universe. Energy changes, transforms, never lost, never gained. Just changes. Flowing with the universe, up the back and down the front. From the earth to the sky and back again, through our human body. So as we come to towards the end of our practice time together, just letting go of the breath and becoming more aware of your body just lying here, resting on the floor. And you want to deepen the breath a little bit or start to wiggle your fingers and toes. Just bring a little bit of movement back. And then, just in your own time, when you feel ready, going to roll over onto your right side. Once you've had a breath or two on the side, absolutely no rush, just when you feel ready, coming up. Bring your hands together in front of your forehead, bowing to honor your own practice today. Coming up here, making this diamond shape. Now, this is kind of like the full moon. We lay it on top of the head, and then we come out. We gather up a bit of this space around from us, and we bring it into the body. And we're bowing here to this energy we've made together, flowing through the universe together, here in the room and over the airwaves. From the chest, we go forwards and down to the floor, bowing and saying thank you to our teachers and all the people in history who have passed things down for us to learn today, including the universe itself. So, thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. So I should also mention that here, my background is in astrophysics, and I spent a lot of years doing research into astronomy and the universe and things. And then I shifted out and ended up doing all sorts of things like this. I've got a retreat evening coming up on the 19th of April. We're going to be down in near Shaftesbury in Wiltshire at a beautiful place, an evening of Qigong, this kind of stuff, what I call cosmic Qigong, kind of like thinking about ourselves and our relationship to the universe and how we flow together. I'm going to offer it online as well, so if you're not anywhere near, you can come and join in online, do some energy practices, and we can contemplate that side of things. So thanks for coming. I'll stay online for a few minutes if anyone's got any questions. Or otherwise, have a great sunny day, and we'll see you next week.